problem with the ducts, and we shouldn't, because we can just call it that duct that we talked about before, either mammary or lactiferous ducts, either one. But that's why I've got mammary in parentheses right here. I think in the lab they refer to it as mammary, and in your book lactiferous something. I think that's what it is. It's the same thing. So I'll let that throw you. So we've learned all these structures so far in the laboratory.
Yes.
Our suspensory ligaments that we talked about. There's our picture from your textbook, and you notice in your textbook they're referring to these milk ducts as lactiferous. In fact, that's what that says. Lactiferous says milk duct. And up here we have these lobules of glands that create the milk. And whenever the milk is ready to be let down, they contract. They're contractile cells that squeeze these alveoli, as they call them, these little lobules. And the milk comes down the lactiferous duct into these pockets called sinuses, where the baby can then nurse. Do you remember what hormone stimulates these glands to make milk? Prolactin. Where's prolactin secreted? Specifically, give me where it's anterior pituitary. Now, what hormone will, after the fact, when the baby's nursing, through neural stimulation and positive feedback, keep the milk flowing down the lactiferous duct into the sinuses? Milk letdown, they call it. Oxytocin, right. Where does that come from? Well, it's synthesized in the hypothalamus, but what gland secretes it specifically? Not the anterior pituitary, but the posterior pituitary. It's the same part of the pituitary that makes an antidiuretic hormone, which are similar peptides. So with that in mind, let's look at this again, what I just said. Hypothalamus is going to secrete prolactin-releasing hormone. That's going to cause the anterior pituitary to produce and secrete prolactin. And that, in concert with some other hormones like your estrogens and so on, are going to end up causing the glands to make milk, which the baby is going to need. Milk letdown, and that's release, is going to be caused by the hypothalamus making, and then the posterior pituitary releasing or secreting oxytocin from that first pit. Smooth muscles around the glands, they squeeze the milk, it comes down the lactiferous or mammary, you can call it either one, lactiferous or mammary, which will then release the milk to the baby. And why is this positive feedback?
Flows.
As long as the baby is nursing, the hypothalamus is being told to make more oxytocin. More oxytocin will keep the milk coming. When nursing stops, of course, then that stimulus is not there. So that's one of the examples of positive feedback we looked at for oxytocin. Excuse me. This is our feedback. Now, everything else we've been looking at for the reproductive system works through negative feedback. Male cycle, the female cycle in general, negative. But for nursing, positive feedback. Now, we're not going to go into spending the whole day